everyone, welcome to the Sweaty the Farmer and the game design where our starfruit cash crop is ready to open wormholes. This is episode number 21, Star Child Spyro. I am the London gamer as the Sweaty.
I am Lucho the farmer. Thanks for joining us on this episode. This week we'll tell stories about magic and aliens and space.
But before that, let's take a look at this week's news. In the docket we have PR campaign of Final Fantasy VII Remake starts ramping up. EA3 host Geoff Keighley, which hosts the Game Awards, bows out of the show and criticizes the event's director. And finally, announcing Warlords of New York expansion for the Division 2, my friend. So, what do you think about the Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I'd like to see it. I think that's the only Final Fantasy game that I have played till the end.
So you play from start to finish?
Yeah.
All the way through. It is a very good game.
It is a very good game, but it's a very cheesy story.
Indeed, I think it is. I think it is a cheesy story. But what do you think about the remake? Are you hyped for it? Are you not hyped for it? They reveal the opening cinematic with all the new newer characters and animation and that sort of stuff.
I'm not super hyped. Let's see what happens when it comes out.
Not super hyped. Let's see what happens. All right.
I'm not a big fan of Final Fantasy, to be honest.
So is that the only Final Fantasy that you play? The 7?
Yep.
All right. You haven't played.
I play other ones, but I never finished them.
Oh,
so
fair enough.
This is the only one that I have actually played and seen the story through.
All right, fair enough. I played this. I played the beginning of 8, but I didn't like it. And then
Did you finish it?
What, the 7? Yes, of course.
8?
No, I just played the beginning of it.
No, then you didn't play it. That's the point.
All right.
I have played the beginning of a bunch of those games. That's the point. I cannot say that I've played them.
All right. I saw the beginning of 8, I guess. And then I play 10. That I play all the way through. And that's how I did. I think I was going to play 11 or 12, one of those. And I couldn't find somebody who actually lent me a PlayStation. Because I remember that I played 7 because a friend of mine lent me an old PlayStation for a week or something like that. And I just do it so hard, and then I went to the half of the second disc, something like that. I was closer to pass to the third disc, and then he took away. I have to give back the PlayStation that he lent me, and then 2 weeks after he lent me again to finish the game.
Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of 4 and 5, on emulators.
Yeah.
I play 6 again, just a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah.
Finish, and 7 is the only one that I actually finished.
Fair enough. So I think I don't remember a lot of part of this game because it was so long ago. So
I remember the story, something sort bad guy, Ifrit.
And materia and that sort of stuff, and and let's Sephiroth. Never forget Sephiroth.
I don't know. These games, I feel like they're bigger in Japan than what they are in the West, to be honest.
Yeah. I did play the prequel of this too in PSP. It was like a fighting game, and you play as the guy that Cloud replaces, stole his identity from. Or you play as that guy, as the original dude who did all the things that Cloud thinks he did. Anyways, it's a weird game.
I think they did a re-release of Tales of 7 for PSP at some point.
7 for PSP. I'm not sure. Did it? Did they re-release the 7 for PSP?
If it wasn't 7, it was one of the older games.
I
They
think
re-released it for.
I don't know. I think it was 8, but I don't remember. Anything that we said can be
No, it was definitely not
false.
8.
All right, fair enough. I don't remember. So, and now they're revamping the PR campaign. They have like cafes with Final Fantasy coverall, the reveal,
Sure.
the
Things and stuff.
yeah, they reveal the opening cinematic with the new engine and stuff. They put in Final Fantasy 7 everywhere, and apparently they're gonna like release it through pieces because the game is so long
Sure.
that they're not like they're not being able to develop it completely from beginning to finish. So they're, I guess, per discs is what people are speculating on.
Sure.
They just released this one of Final Fantasy 7
Whatever
remake.
they want.
Yeah, and that's about it. Final Fantasy 7, as the father of RPGs in the gaming.
Maybe the JRPGs. I don't
The
know.
JRPG, yeah, in the gaming sphere is a franchise that you have to have your eye on because, like, apparently Final Fantasy 14, which is the online one, came back from the dead and now is apparently super good, and that the last expansion is super good. Or
It
something
has
like that.
always been good. It's just that it ramps up and dies down all the time. Like they release content, the game comes to life, and then it winds down a little bit.
But
All the next content release.
yeah, but if I'm not wrong, they have a pretty bad like release, right?
Yeah,
On
they had a
14?
rocky release, but like after a couple of patches and things,
Yeah.
it's been going on, and it's been a fairly popular game
All right.
since launch. So
Okay.
aside from a rocky release, which I feel like is kind of the standard nowadays for any online game,
Fair enough.
it's been like 15 has been a fairly like a quite popular game, to be honest.
It is 14 or 15?
Very
14, right?
successful. 14, 15, the one which
The
it's
last
online.
one is online one, right? Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, to expect the I don't know when they're gonna release this thing. I think it's soonish, right?
Maybe.
I think it's soonish. Maybe at the end of this year. Because they're putting a lot of PR, so I imagine that it's gonna be wow, that's a cool thing. I imagine it's gonna be soonish. So probably at some point this year or at the beginning of next year. I will say. This decoration of this cafe are very pretty. They have like tablecloth with
Sure.
with F7 stuff. They're pretty cool.
I think my favorite games in the Final Fantasy series are the
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Tactics,
Final Fantasy Tactics. All right.
which are like a spin-off
Yeah. Side
turn-based
Yeah.
RPG.
Yeah. I see it.
I find those more fun, the gameplay more fun than at least at the old
the old
classic
RPG ones. Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
They're good. Anyways.
I don't like the turn-based combat, so I find it boring.
Yeah, but have you tried the new combat, like real time?
No.
Kind of like
What did I told you? What did I
Alright,
just
fair
told
enough.
you?
I'm sorry.
What did I just told you?
Have you seen that?
I find the old combat boring. That's all I
Alright.
said.
All right. I was gonna ask you something, but you kind of like.
I just told you I have never played the games, not the new ones. So
Alright.
what do you think the answer is gonna be?
I was gonna ask if you have even seen it, how the new combat works.
No, don't care. I don't care about this game that much, to be honest.
Fair enough.
You know that I don't follow these things.
I know. And in the next one, Geoff Kingley, which is like the creator of the Game Awards, told E3 that he's not participating. He's been like a central figure to presenting the award, the convention, the E3 convention for like forever, since the convention. I think the third year of the convention. And then apparently Nintendo is pulling out all of the booths from the convention. So you think that this is destined to go away? the Electronic Entertainment
Who cares?
Expo? Do you think it's a relic from the past?
Who cares?
Who cares?
If it
You don't
dies,
care
it
about
dies.
the you never care about the E3? I remember that was like, for me at least, it was like
Not really.
the thing to watch. Like, I remember a couple of years I was very aware of the expo because it was where all the big games were being like revealed, where all the
If
big games were being shown up and that sort of stuff.
I follow the games that I care about.
You follow the games that you care about. You don't follow the
Like
industry in
there is
general.
nothing that they're gonna announce in E3 that I'm gonna say, oh, I didn't know about that. I do care.
Not even like the global announcements of new games and that sort of stuff.
Like what?
I don't know. Like, let me think. A game that was announced on E3.
They don't do, like, the industry doesn't that doesn't do like full on announcements on E3 anymore.
Yeah, that's why maybe it's dying. It's sad. It's sad. It was kind of like an iconic
Who
expo.
cares, really?
Yeah, come on. It was kind of like Comic Con but for games.
And how many shits do I get out Comic Con?
I don't know. None, I guess.
Yeah,
We're talking about conventions now.
I don't like, dude. We have the internet now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the advent of the internet maybe killed the convention. It's a shame. It's like a relic of the past.
It is not. It is.
Well, it's a relic of the past. It's like I have fond memories of watching
Sure.
E3.
So, as pretty much all relics from the past, it should die.
Okay. Nothing from the past should be conserved. Everything should die.
I mean, why would we conserve like an expensive to attend and probably to produce game convention that really doesn't announce anything new because people pretty much know what they care?
Yeah. So why
Because
Comic Con
Reddit?
still exist then?
Oh, because people are freaking weird. But
all right. Well, I don't know. Like, I imagine, yeah, now everybody has their own like way to announce stuff. Everybody has their own quote unquote Nintendo Direct because they started with the trend. So it's a shame that it's slowly dying. Well, it is a sign of the times advancing. No longer it's gonna be like the place to go.
Yeah, that's not a shame. That's a good thing.
Well, okay. Why is a good thing? Tell me about it.
Because times change and things need to change.
And the times they are changing. Yeah. No? You don't like my
No.
Okay. Just no. Anyway, so apparently E3 is dead, RIP E3, etc., etc.
Like really, no one cares about that convention.
Yeah, they're still like doing it, I imagine, right? They haven't.
Yeah, but it's probably super expensive to produce.
Absolutely, of course.
And it is super expensive to attend. So
probably yes.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. The announcement. Oh, what is this knowledge? There we go. The announcement of Warlords of New York, the new expansion for the Division 2, which bring us to level 40, which bring a bunch of changes into the sandbox.
Is it expansion or is it a DLC?
Good question. How do you define a DLC?
DLC has less content than an expansion in my head.
All right.
But that's probably an outdated idea because I think of expansions as expansions for all games. Like, let's think of Age of Empires 2 and its expansions.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
But they have like a good chunk of content, like new campaigns and new civilizations to play and stuff.
Yeah. I think...
And DLC is kind of more like, oh yeah, there one more mission
and that's it.
One more phase.
And that's it. I think
I don't know.
I definitely will call it an expansion because we have had like the DLCs from the division, which are the episodes thingies, which brings like new weapons and exotics and an extra mission, right? But this is a complete new level,
Yeah,
complete new map.
sure. But the problem is that these notions of DLC and expansion for games as services are kind of weird nowadays.
Yep, that is absolutely true. But I will call it expansion because it's a complete map, like New York, like Division
How
One, New
big is the
York.
map compared to?
I've seen some screenshots. Seems like pretty big.
Yeah,
Like
but they have
like
probably mentioned it.
like they haven't I haven't seen details about the size of the map, but they say that they say that it's the New York from Division One.
The whole map?
I don't know. That's what they say. I'm not sure if it's the whole map or not.
They have probably mentioned it in some dev stream kind of thing that
Somewhere,
they
but I
do.
tried to find like more detailed information on Reddit and I couldn't find it
Reddit is not the
anywhere.
end all be all
I know, but they
solution for
generally like
information.
point you out in the right direction.
No, stop it. You shouldn't get your news from Reddit.
I don't get my news from Reddit. I try to find information in Google, and Google always points me to Reddit. It's not my fault. It's Google's
Of
fault.
course, it is your fault because if Google is pointing at you, is pointing out to Reddit all the time, that means that you spend too much time on Reddit.
I do. That's the wrong. Anyways, I think is the whole map.
It maybe I don't know. I'll be
I
surprised
think
if
it's
it
the
is.
whole Manhattan thingy, the same as Division One.
It could, yeah, but Manhattan was just an area of the old map.
I don't know. I don't know how big is the Division One map.
And
Let's look
Manhattan
for
was
it.
just an area. Like the current map of the Division 2 has like 4, 5 different areas.
Let's see. Expansion overview. Lower Manhattan, New York City. Lower Manhattan, New York City in the hunt for blah blah blah. So it says Lower Manhattan.
It's not. It's not a smaller Manhattan. It's just like one section.
Try to give you feedback on creation and game experience. New aesthetics, new content, blah blah blah. Let's see, campaign max of 40, map expansion, Lower Manhattan. Yeah, just Lower Manhattan. 4
Yep.
zones, 4 name zones. Fog of War. My range of more activities. Blah blah blah. 5 main missions, 8 side missions. Factions, all the New York factions. Rikers cleans Basekeepers. They're bringing in them. I'm reading in the Division 2 Ubisoft page. Seasonal manhunts, reimagine events, leaks, seasonal events, apparel events. That we already have it. SHD levels. Okay. Legendary difficulty, global difficulty, and directives. So that's kind of like they're not making that. We used to have like war tiers, right?
Yep.
Now they're removing war tiers, and now you get to choose the difficulty of your map. So how they explain it is like,
Okay.
yeah, how they explain it is like you have like normal, and then you go through your map, and then once you clean up all the control points, the control points will stay clean up forever, right? To invade it again, you either put directives on it, which are modifiers for the control points or all the missions in the game, or you level up the difficulty, and then the whole war is gonna level up the difficulty. So in the division now, when you go and do random missions in the war, your difficulty is normal, right? In war tier 6.
Yeah, I mean it is not normal. It's world tier
It's war tier
difficulty.
6, which is normal difficulty if you compare it with you entering a mission. You know
Is
what
it
I mean?
really?
Yes. Is
Are
that
you
difficulty?
sure of that? I'm not
Yes.
convinced of what you're saying.
All right. You're not convinced, but I'm sure about it. And now what they're gonna do is like you now choose the difficulty of your war. So you can put your difficulty up to hard, heroic. What is it? What is the next one? And legendary. Yeah, hard, heroic, and legendary. And that's gonna like put the difficulty in the entire in all the activities around the world, not only in the missions that you enter.
Okay, I see what
Yeah,
you mean.
yeah. And doing that to the summon, and of course, with like higher up of difficulty, you get better gear as their
Eh,
as their
sure.
so
Those changes are small changes.
yeah,
Like,
and
that really doesn't matter.
they're changing all the gear things. They're changing all the talents. Even the brand names have different talents.
Sure.
We're
Stuff.
working all the itemization. Now you can have gold rolls when you used not to have it because they have a budget system before. Now you can storage um, talents in your workbench.
Sure.
So, for example, if you want the what is like I don't know berserker from the chest, now you can take a piece of berserker chest, deconstruct it, and store and put that berserker talent in the storage. So when you get your next piece, you don't need the other piece. You just take it to the creative
Yeah,
bench
all
and
those
applies
things
it.
are minor changes in my head.
Yeah.
Gearing up
Uh,
was never that hard in the Division 2.
that is true. And now they have like an infinite leveling up thingy like in Borderlands 3. Like the beta system in Borderlands 3.
Sure. Again, those things are minor changes.
And the second raid will come out too.
That's the only major thing.
Yeah, the second raid will come out too, and then you will have two versions of. It is weird because it's gonna be like two versions of the raids, one for level 30 players and the other for level 40 players, with different difficulties, etc., in case you don't have the
Sure.
expansion.
That's fair.
And yeah, and that's it about the title update 8 with Warlords of New York. So what do you think about it? Is that enough content?
Maybe. I don't like the itemization changes. That's not real content.
All right.
That's not real content.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
Like,
I'm agreeing with you.
like rebalancing the game and changing how you get loot and stuff. That's not content. So
Yeah.
they may sell it like that, but it is not.
All right. Yes.
So is it 100 enough content? Probably not.
In the missions and the new map.
I don't know how big the new map is gonna be. I don't know how many new missions are we gonna get.
8, 5, 5 main and 8 side missions. So 13 new missions.
That's significant.
Yeah. And 3 new factions.
The factions, again, don't care.
All right. And what else?
Unless they're like super different, but they're probably not gonna be.
I'm not sure how different are the factions in the Division 1.
It's not gonna be that different from the ones that we have.
Let's see. Yeah, no, they're kind of like kind of similar to one another. We have to see how they play in the Division 2. Have to see how
like
they actually play.
probably they're gonna play somewhat similar. So
yes, it's the Division still, and they're apparently gonna have like a legendary version of the Black Tusk that is called that they're white. I saw that in one of the
Sure.
streamer thingies. But then, so the actual content is like 13 missions, a new map of Lower Manhattan. We don't know how big it is. New max level to 40, so you have to level up to level 40.
10 more levels are not more content.
Fair
Just 10 levels too.
All right. New exotics and unique names items.
How many do we know?
No, they don't say.
Then they're not gonna release them on release, and it's just gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, they don't say.
So that's and again when they like the whole exotic things, it's like ongoing content. So I wouldn't count it as part of the expansion, quote unquote.
Yeah, I think the meat is like the new map and what do you do in the new map and the number of missions, which 30 missions in a new map is significant, I would
That
say.
that's a good number of missions, and if they are as long and as well designed as the ones in the base game,
It is good,
fair
yeah.
enough.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
really good. The missions are really well designed. The the levels are really nice to go through.
Yep, that is
They're really
that.
interesting. So if they're at least if they keep the quality, is is gonna be good content. The raid, we'll see. I like the first raid.
Let's see if this time I can do the old raid.
You're
See if
never gonna
Lucho
do it.
stop telling me to do it. I'm gonna do it just so you cannot tell me anymore that I
No,
cannot do
you
it.
never did it when it was relevant. So
And now it's because it's not
it's
relevant
gone.
anymore.
It's gone.
So my opportunity is gone forever. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it is gone.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Do you know that in WoW there are these achievements I call like ahead of the curve that they
Uh,
basically give you for completing the different tiers of the raid before the next raids come, and you can only get those achievements during that time.
really? I didn't know
Yep.
that. Will I get one with the raid with Nilota?
If we complete the normal one, yeah.
Will I count as complete the normal one even if I started from the fourth
I don't know. I don't
boss?
know if it is when you kill the
All the
final
bosses?
boss or when you have killed all the bosses. It's probably when you have killed all the bosses.
Mm.
So you'll probably get it eventually.
Yeah, we'll probably get it eventually once we like do this run, and then when we do
Yeah.
the next run, I'll probably get it when I kill the
You'll
bosses.
but you
The
see,
bosses
you have
before.
like this raid thing. It has a limited window.
I know, right?
That was my
Okay,
point.
okay, that was your point. Fair enough.
The
So
point that it's gone.
will you be gearing up and doing the thing for the raid
For what raid? For the
for
division?
for the new raid that for the division raid?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't. I don't have time.
You don't have time? All right, I will. I really like this game. I was
I
thinking
really
of.
like the division 2. I'm not saying I don't,
Yeah, I know. I do.
but
Correction. I do have the time, so I will do it.
also like right now we're doing WoW progression,
Yeah,
and
that is true.
that takes a lot of time.
That it does, but I do have a lot of time, so.
I know,
So
and you
yeah,
can do it, but
I'm very happy with the WoW progression, and now that I have my tank, I will finally get to like grind a little bit more of gear to see
yeah,
if I do better.
but doing
Generally,
progression in WoW takes a lot of time, especially now that it's still like the first couple of weeks of the patch where we still need to grind dailies and keep on top of the coalescence
things.
farm and
All right. So
mementos and
are we
stuff.
still in play? I mean, hello. Look, there is an actual. Is this a screenshot from of the map? Yeah. Wow, it's kind of like big. I would say. There's a small screenshot of the map in the web page, and it's like on cover. It seems like 4 zones. Yeah. I think I will say it's like it will not be as big as DC, but it will be like by eye I would say like half of DC.
We'll see when it comes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But no,
Um,
I'll probably won't be playing it on launch or anything like that.
hmm. All right, then it will be me all alone. All alone. But it'll be fine. I do. I do like the game a lot. I was actually planning to do a hardcore playthrough of the
Go for it.
game eventually. But I'll probably go for the new content first. But yeah, I'm all ready for Warlords of New York. and the expansion.
I'm not that excited about this content, to be honest.
You're not that excited about this content?
No, I think they lost me by delaying the content so much.
By delaying the raid that much?
Not only the raid, but all the content. Like
They still put out the episodes, right?
Sure, but that's not enough. That's like a weekend content.
Like a weekend. All right, fair enough. Like a week, a small content. All right, but like I don't know how much.
I like the game, but I don't know. The release schedule lost me.
Fair enough, but it's been like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about it. Like this is like a new expansion, and it's been a year of the game, so it's kind of like
that's the problem. It's been a year.
It's kind of in WoW terms. That's okay, I guess, right?
Yeah, but One Division don't have the same amount of content on them.
The Division doesn't
and
have
stuff to do.
Stuff to do as WoW. Fair enough.
Yes. What do you mean? Fair enough. It doesn't. Like
yeah. I'm agreeing with you. Yes. Yes.
Just but the fact that for our guild doing raid progression is gonna take at least a month.
At least a month. Yeah. This pace, yes.
Yeah, but that means that we have at least a month and a couple of weeks more
of stuff
of content of doing the stuff, like actually progressing to the content of the game. All right. The Edition 2, I completed the raid like in the first 2 or 3 weeks
of release of the raid.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And then I farmed it for a bit, but
after that, you didn't have anything to do?
I did not. Like, what was left for me to either do?
The next thing that they put up was the 2 new missions.
I did those missions. I farmed the new exotic.
And then the college.
That was a weekend.
And then the college, right? And then after that
I did the college. I get the new exotic in the college. That was a weekend.
And then after that was the Pentagon.
Yep.
Which is 3 missions.
Yeah.
Inside the Pentagon.
And then, but those were short missions. Again, that was another weekend.
And then now the prelude for this, which comes up next week, Tuesday.
Yeah. But all those things that you're describing came over a year. So
yes. It's too little content to keep you occupied.
To keep anyone that doesn't do PvP.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
That's where they lost me. It's fine. I enjoy the game. I think it's an amazing game.
Yeah.
And I was on board with all with them spending time like rebalancing skills and abilities and talents and all the stuff.
Yeah.
They were just too slow doing it for me.
Fair enough. They were too slow delivering the content. Yeah, and the game died up a lot because of it.
Yeah, that's.
Well, now
it's a good game. I'm never gonna say it's a bad game.
Now
I think they just they just took a wrong turn, like with the scheduling of the balancing new content kind of thing.
Yeah, they did because we in theory we should have had the second raid in like October or something like that. And we should have like ramping up to that, like around like the end of episode 2 content. We should have the second raid in theory, but they delay it, and now it has been like 6 months.
Almost 6 months. That's too much for anyone.
Too much, too much for delaying all the big, and like raids are big content. Like it's the content that keeps you grinding, that keeps you going there. It brings new items and stuff, and like gives you an in-game activity to do. And they're not eternal. They have a span of time when they're effective as content too. So you have to be.
You can farm those raids maybe for a couple of months, and then you get bored of them.
Yeah, exactly. So they do have
natural.
Yeah, they do have a lifetime. Even it is big, but they do have a lifetime. So
also the deviation raids are not that big. Like the 4 bosses.
Yeah. They make sense inside of the game.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying that
Yeah,
it's not that
but
big.
it's not. They're yeah. They're not as big as other raids. That is true. So there is like I've heard a lot of community that are pretty happy with the changes and all. A lot of the content creators that left because of the drought of content are very happy with Warlords of New York. Hopefully, this will like reinvigorate the community and they actually start to like deploying more content at a better pace once they are like happy with the balance that they do.
Well,
But we will have to see.
we'll see. Part of me feels like the damage is done and that they're not gonna be able to.
Recoup
Yep. Like a
the
lot of people that
audience.
they lost are lost. Like
Lost forever. Yeah.
it's about trust. Like
Yeah. Well, I'll be playing it. I like the game. Hopefully, I we wish them the best, but
yeah, of course.
it will not bring back the game for sure. So, those were the news of this week. We move now to our main topic, but before that, the disclaimer as usual. Discussion here is based on our own opinions and our own in-game experience. Whatever we said and exclaim here should be taken with a grain of salt. We don't know everything about everything. We will open a wiki for this deep dive. uh, and that's the disclaimer. So yeah, take it lightly, take it smoothly. So what is a deep dive, Lucho?
It's about all the lore and world building in Warframe, basically.
Basically, when I discuss
Basically,
all the lore in Warframe, there is a lot of Warframe lore.
there is surprisingly a lot of lore
There
for
is a lot of lore for this
a
game.
game that began as a just like a dungeon crawler kind of game.
Yeah. So they have seven, like it's fair. They have like now what 7 years of small stories and
Yep,
stuff
accumulated. Yep,
accumulated. So it's pretty much lore. And then like I think that they've done a good job in opening the lore and exploring things. And the universe had let them like exploring very different like thematic stuff, right?
definitely.
Right? I think they've done a lot of job, a very good job to like, we're gonna explore this side of the story, or what happened here, or we're gonna tell a horror story, or we're gonna tell a very like compassionate story, we're gonna be a murder mystery story, and that's like they explore a lot of thematic inside the quest of
Yeah,
Warframe.
sometimes it feels that it lacks some focus,
Yeah,
but
but like the majority of things works inside the world building.
I'm not saying they don't work. I'm saying they lack focus on some of the stories. Like they're kind of a lot of the quests in the game are like little side of the road, like tales that you'll listen in the side of the on the side of the road.
Yeah. All right. So before
So
we
so
start,
so, so some of the let me just finish the idea.
yeah,
Some of the quests just feel like disconnected tales, and that's a missed opportunity because there could be there is probably a lot of interesting connective tissue.
that is true. Before we go into details about these thematics, there's gonna be a lot of spoilers. If you haven't played the game and you like the game, don't go and play the game. Finish the quest. Finish all the quests and then come back and keep hearing us talking about this stuff. A lot of spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead. I repeat. Spoilers about Warframe lore ahead and stories and stuff about all the big quests. This is your time to stop and then come back. With that aside, we ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, as Lucho was saying, there is a bunch of quests with like disconnected tissue everywhere. But I got the feeling that in the latest one, they're being more aware of this. Like they kind of like trying to put more connective tissue in the new quest.
No, that's not true.
That's not true. You feel like not. I feel like they kind of work inside the story that you're telling
What are you
us.
talking about?
And like, well, the thing is like you don't need to have like a direct connection in the quests.
No, but it will be cooler.
Yes, it will be colored. That is true, but you don't need to
And it's a
have a
missed
direct.
opportunity. That's what I'm saying.
It is a missed opportunity. Yes, it is a missed opportunity, but
That's
they
what I
will
just
probably
said.
have like to have like very. I wonder if they have like a lore console or something like that in Warframe.
No, of
Like by
course
now.
not. It's whatever Steve has in mind.
So the lore console is whatever idea Steve has in
Yeah.
his head that morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is it. And what about the big three? Like, do you feel like the big three are pretty connected?
Yes, but those are 3 quests
So
out
many.
of all of the quests that are in the game. So, and they're big. They're like the central column of quests in the game for sure. I'm not saying those are disconnected. I'm just saying that there are a lot of like little pieces that don't connect to anything, and that's
That
a missed opportunity. That's my point.
yes,
Is it
that is
bad
true.
storytelling? Yes, it is.
Because it's
Is
not an
it?
arcade. Yeah, they don't
Is
run.
an interesting study that I would like to know more? Of course, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
But it's bad storytelling for the most part.
You feel that there is a bad storyteller to have like so many
Having
disconnected.
so many disconnected
Yeah,
pieces,
they
yes,
have
of
too
course.
many. There's too many. Too
Like
many
it is
disconnected
okay
stuff.
if you have a little, like a couple of disconnected things that are like these little mystery things that you never get to know.
Yeah, and then you eventually or
But
not
a
eventually will
few.
explore. But yeah, not.
And no, it is okay if you never explore them. It's
All right.
fine. Like you can leave the mysteries open.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
a
Yes.
few of them.
All right. Tell me. Tell
Not
me
a lot
about.
of the
Tell me quest. Tell me. All right. Let's start because you list a bunch of quests here. So how do you want to demonstrate your point through the order that we have here? So we have Hall of the Kubro, A Man of Few Words, and Rising Tide as the first side quest that you do.
I mean, those are the things that the wiki qualifies as side quests, and I guess it's just because they couldn't fit them anywhere else. Because if you look at them, like 2 of those, which are Hall of the Core and Rising Tide,
Yeah.
they're just quests that open mechanics for you, and that's it.
Yeah, that just quests that demonstrate a system.
They don't even demonstrate; they just give you access.
Well, yeah, okay. They give you a system, right? At the end of the quest. It's just like, but they do try to give them context, right?
No, Hall of the Core doesn't give you that much context.
It's like you do an incubation and then that's it.
And you get a dog at the end, and cool. Now we have
And
dogs.
cool. And then the questions bring to mind is like, why do I need a dog?
And why do dogs lay eggs?
Yeah, why do dogs lay eggs? So many questions.
And I mean, to refer to a game, Hall of the
Yeah.
Core is probably amongst the oldest quests in the game.
Yeah.
So I see why it now looks kind of
Meh. Yeah, weird.
in a sense. Yeah. But that quest is kind of, I don't know, like it will be cool if they will tell me more about what these cores are and why do they lay eggs.
And why they're
And you
so
only find
nice.
cores on Earth, for example.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing?
Yeah. Are they like weird, like amalgamation of dogs and then
Are
with
they created
chickens?
by Grenier because they only appear on Earth?
Yeah.
Or do they have some kind of
And
working connection? It will be like,
Yeah.
like there are all these things that
Yeah, there are so
could
many
be worth
possibilities.
exploring.
And then it's just like lines of dialogue of like a text that you can leave there for you to like give you a little bit more context.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I think that weekly was what is the one of the new one of these three?
Rising Tide.
Right? What do you do in that one?
You go around doing different missions, and in each mission you basically find a different piece of the railjack,
All right, yeah.
and you have to dig it out, which is basically just playing like a defense mission.
What with extractors?
No, a defense mission.
Just a defense mission?
Yeah, you go
Alright.
find a little piece of ship and you
Yeah.
defend it for a while.
All right.
But that one is kind of nice because you get attacked by sentients during the
Oh.
process.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. And those are the 3 side quests that exist in the game. Technically side quests, but there's so much more. So many more.
No, but again, like among a few words have the same problem. It basically gives you clem.
Yes.
It gives you access
And
to
the
a
access
clem
to Barrow Kadir.
blueprints, and I don't think to white barrow.
No,
What?
to the
Darbo?
merchant. Yeah.
You get Darbo before doing this quest because it's Darbo the one who gives you a quest.
Oh, there you go. So no. So just to claim. So
Yes, it gives you, I think, that dual gracatas at the end or something like that.
Yes, that is true. But it gives you the most beloved character in all Warframe.
Yeah, and you go and help him, and you rescue him, and you recover his gracatas for him. And it's a cute little side quest, but it could be so much more.
Don't you find out that there is like part of Mars population that is not with the Grenier in that quest?
No.
No, you don't find out that in that quest?
No.
Well. Then the question is, are these side quests good? That is the question. In the formality that we classify side quests here, right? And we have done it since Destiny.
I mean,
do they work build
yes.
for you? Do they work build for you? Are they entertaining to play? And they give you a cool reward? Generally, the parameters where we...
I mean, all of them give you cool rewards.
All right.
Because space doggos are cool.
Yes.
Because railjack is essential for gameplay.
All right.
And because Clem is a dank meme, so...
and the weapons are really good. Like the actual gracatas are really good.
The dual gracatas are fairly good weapons,
yeah.
And they help you a lot at the beginning, and you get that quest quite at the beginning of your gameplay, so it's fine. The couriers are super useful as companions.
Yep.
So the rewards are worth it. Do they do a good job world building? Maybe a man of the few words, and maybe Raising Tide.
Yeah.
I don't know if Hall of the Kuro does. I feel like that one doesn't. So.
All right. So will you classify it as good then?
Like passing grade?
Yeah, passing grade.
With a thin razor margin.
So what? B minus?
Like a B minus.
B minus. You try. Congratulations. Happy. A happy smiley face.
You participated. It's just that the problem for me. Yeah, it's a participation trophy. The problem is that they have potential, and the game shows us that he knows how to do really interesting quests. That's the problem.
Fair enough. So those are the 2 early quests, and then a recent one, which is way more elaborate. Then we're gonna move on to the Warframe quest.
Yeah, so now we have a big chunk of quests. Like a lot of the basic Warframes are given to you somewhat through quests or their blueprints or something. And I feel like this could also fall into that side quest definition for us.
Technically, yes.
Because you could you don't have to do this quest to play the game at all. Like,
That is correct.
you could ignore all these frames, so they're not required at all. And the main purpose of the quests is to give you a little bit of the lore of the Warframe that they correspond to.
Correct.
So the rewards are nice because you want to get all the Warframes.
Yeah.
The world building for most of them is pretty sweet. Some of them are like outstanding quests.
Yes.
And I don't know. Do you want to go through all of them?
Well, we can do that. Let's go through all of them and see if they're good or not. See if they're good lore or not.
Yeah.
So hidden messages.
So this is the Mirage quest.
Yes.
What do you think?
I don't remember it.
You have the wiki. You said that you have the wiki.
There you go.
Your answer
I just
cannot
found
be.
it. I just found it.
Your answer cannot be. I don't remember.
Yeah. So. So yeah, you go through 3 missions and then you solve some riddles apparently.
Yeah.
And that's why I remember, because I was just checking the wiki to see what do I have to do next. You're supposed to solve a riddle to find out what mission to go next.
Yes.
Yes. But like, yeah. Will you ever? Do you find entertaining solving a riddle?
I don't like puzzle games, so I'm not a big fan of riddles and puzzles. But that doesn't make it bad per se.
Yeah, per se.
That just means that I don't enjoy it.
Yeah. So it's like, all right. So again, without or definition. So it is entertaining to play. Playing Warframe is entertaining. So I will say yes.
I think the problem. I think this quest would have been more entertaining when it came out, when everyone was solving the puzzle.
Yeah, when everybody's solving the riddles.
Yeah.
Probably this one, yes. When the puzzle
But we got to cheat because we came late.
Yes, correct. And then you get Mirage at the end, which is an interesting frame. And the lore that they give you through the quest, man, I don't remember.
The lore is it just comes through the riddles. That's all the lore that it gives you.
So it has to do with light and stuff.
Yeah, with light and shadows, which is the theme of Mirage.
And apparently Greek mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah, the riddles all get resolved knowing about Greek mythology.
Yeah.
So you got a lesson in Greek mythology. All right.
I think it's like, if you enjoy riddles, it could be fun. That's not my thing.
Fair enough. Where is the limbo one? Oh my god. There it is. The limbo theory. The next one is the limbo theory, which give you the limbo warframe, which is a very strange one.
The quest or the warframe?
The frame. The quest is, I think you do, how is it? You do Arkwing missions, and then in the Arkwing missions you find like these balls that have like coordinates. And you decipher it, and then you get the blueprints for it.
Yep.
And
you go decipher it. It points out to a normal quest that you go and do, and when you complete that quest, it gives you the blueprint for the part that you need to build. Once you build it, it gives you a new thing to go and do. New riddle, rinse and repeat 4 times.
And then you get the limbo.
Yep.
And the same, and they're telling you about like time and space through the actual quest.
Yep, because that's Limbo's.
That's Limbo thing. Yeah. He bends time and space and that sort of stuff. So it's okay. It's
I
not.
didn't enjoy this one that much because it is one of those quests that forces you to build something that
And you have
takes
to
12
wait a lot.
hours because
Yeah,
before moving on.
yeah, and you have to wait a lot on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of waiting, which really doesn't matter that much because by the time you're doing this quest, you have a lot of stuff to in the game.
Yeah.
But I always find it annoying when the quest force you to just wait for days.
Yes. Correct.
I wish they change that. That's the thing that I enjoy the least of this quest.
Fair enough. The next one is Patient Zero, where you get the Mesa Warframe, which is my favorite Warframe, but it's weird because I'm not sure if they give you the
The blueprint.
context. No, they give you the context of the Warframe because they're telling you what happened with Alavi and how he infected
Yeah,
himself. And
I don't think it gives you that much context. It
no,
doesn't give you that much lore of the Warframe.
no, it's just like, oh yeah, he went to a derelict and infected himself, and while in the derelict, he find the plans of the Warframe, and then
Yes.
you got them from them, and that's it. And it's more like he's more concerned telling you how what happened with this character with Alavi after you kick his ass in a in one of the quests before.
Yep. In
In
one of the
the
previous planets too.
Yeah, in one of the previous plans, you go and rescue because he's dismantling warframes to do experiments, and you go and stop him.
Yep.
And then he gets kicked out of a corpus, and he loses his money, so he wants to keep experiment, and he goes and find a derelict, and then he gets infected, and then now he's a mutant.
It's the way that you're telling it is not that compelling.
All right. So
The story of Fallout is really interesting.
yeah. It is. Yeah, the way I'm telling it doesn't like much. I'm trying to like summarize it for what this quest gives you.
It's
But
a really poor summary.
I'm sorry, and you summarize
Do
it
you do you know
then.
why was he kicked out of the corpus board?
It wasn't because he messed up with the what's the name with the experiments. He had a name of what he was creating. He was creating
Yeah, so
a weapon to stop warframes.
the hyena that
The
is with
hyena, yeah.
him in the junction
Yeah,
thing.
the hyenas, yeah.
So he was collecting warframes and he was like building like these robots out of the warframe part that he was
Yes,
collecting.
correct.
And the point is that he was selling the idea that he was gonna be like he was selling the corpus board idea that he was gonna build an army of these robots built out of warframes
Yeah.
that will basically allow the corpus board to control the solar system.
Okay.
But I mean, through the process, we ended up fighting him, and
Yeah.
we destroyed his experiment,
Correct.
and he couldn't pay back the debt, like all the money, all the
Ah.
credits that the board invested in him. So they kicked him
Ah.
out.
Ah. Okay. It was because of the usual reason that Corpus kicked out people because of money.
Yeah, yeah, but then after that, he like through all his experiments and things, he realized that there was some biological matter on the warframes, which that came to fruition later on.
Yeah, which is important later on.
And
Yeah.
he knew that it was like he realized that it was related to infestation. So he went out like to study infestation. But he didn't have money, so the only way that he could investigate it was to infest himself. And his
Ah.
actual idea was to try to infest himself with
Yeah.
with infestation
Yeah.
and actually control the infestation to
Ah.
destroy the corpus and the Grenier. But he
Oh.
couldn't control the infestation.
Oh yeah.
And that's when
Yes.
he becomes mutualist Alet B.
Middle East LSB. Yeah. But he didn't
That
succeed in
story is
that.
really interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting. How you tell it? Yes, it's really interesting.
But yeah, but those are the interesting part. Like the reason
Yeah.
why he was kicked out, that he actually tried to control the infestation by infesting himself. That he failed because no one controls the infestation.
Yeah. And this is the weird part of this quest for Mesa. All this has nothing to do with the warfare. It's just telling you. It's just an excuse to tell you the story of Aladdin.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't know that much of the lore of Mesa because I don't like Mesa that much. So it could be related somewhat to
Nah,
that.
she's just a gunslinger.
But I think he just finds it along the way and we just get it when we
Yeah.
kill Aladdin.
Yeah,
And that's it.
and that's it.
But the story of Aladdin is really interesting.
So, in conclusion, this quest is like good for the story that it's telling you, but it doesn't have to do anything with the reward.
Which I don't mind because
Yeah.
I enjoy the story
Fair enough.
when I play it.
Yeah. So it's a good quest.
I think this one's a good quest. This one tells a really compelling story, and Aladdin is really fun.
It's a cool character. Yeah. All right, the next one, the Jordan's Precept. This is the Atlas one.
Yeah, this again has to do with infestation.
Yes.
Basically, one goes around like investigating infested corpus ships.
Yep.
And at some point, one finds out like these traces of this cephalon thing that was kind of lost.
Which are artificial intelligence in the War of Warframe.
Yeah, cephalon are like this sentient, quote unquote, artificial intelligence.
Sentient are other things in Warframe, so intelligent. Use another word. Intelligent.
Yeah, but sentient is the right word.
Oh, okay, fair enough, but not sentient as in the things. Sentient
not
as in the
not a sentient is Warframe, but sentient in that it has a conscience.
Yes.
But it's sentient because it has a conscience. So yeah, these conscious AI thingies that basically run ships that are used to like run all the functions and the ships that we use to travel around.
Correct.
And the point is that like we find traces of this old cephalon that was lost, and we lure some juggernauts around. We kill them to figure out if we can find the cephalon that was lost to infestation, and we end up figuring out that the ship that the cephalon was running,
correct,
was completely overrun by infestation.
Yes.
And it has become like this huge
infested ship
juggernaut ship that it's called now Jordan's Golem, which is the boss that we end up fighting at the end.
The cephalon was called Jordan.
Yeah, the cephalon was Jordan's.
And this what does has to do with Atlas? Again,
probably not much.
Not much. Again, nothing. Yeah.
But the story, like I really like the story. It's a really sad story of this cephalon that got lost and got infested, and we are releasing him from his suffering by killing Jordan's Golem.
Correct. He slowly was going quote unquote crazy because of the infestation.
Yeah.
And then at the end you get a fancy Atlas thingy.
You get an ugly Atlas.
Yeah, you get the One Punch Man in the Warframe universe.
Yeah. But it's a good story. I like this story.
Yes, this is a good. So I will approve it. Yeah, war building check, cool. Reward at the end. Yes.
And I actually like the fight against the Jordan's Golem. It's just that when we did it, we were really undergeared. But
yeah. And we bashed our head against that wall and we broke the wall.
Yeah.
But we broke our heads in the way, so there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, see, good. It is good. All right, next one, Sands of Time. This one I really like. I like this the story. In this one, it has to do with the Warframe. His sacrifice to save a population in Mars. Yep. And then they build in this tomb, and he was like a really strong Warframe. It is very cool. It is a really nice quest line, and it tells you a nice story, and it has to do everything with the Warframe. So again, different to the other ones.
Yeah, I like this one has a mechanic that they give you a little urn, and that it displays some symbols that correspond to different enemies, and you have to go and hunt those enemies to fill the urn.
Yeah,
I like that mechanic. That mechanic was
super cool.
is different. It's pretty cool.
And you get to keep the urn.
You get to
I still
keep
have the
there
urn.
as a decoration. Yep.
Yeah, super cool. So nice reward, super world building,
Yep.
because this is the first quest that tells you that there is like normal people living around in the colonies.
This is probably the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they tell you that there's people that doesn't belong to any of the factions, that they just want to live in peace, and the factions just bully them around.
Yep.
And it's nice.
Yep.
And it's super nice. So yeah, we approve. Sons of an Artist is a great quest. All right, next one. The Silver Groove. This is the
Yeah.
Titania quest.
This is the Titania quest, which
Yeah,
this is an annoying quest because you have to go and scan like little plants on Earth. And Earth has a really annoying day and night cycle that is super long.
Yeah.
Like it's like 8 hours of day and 4 hours of night. Like real world hours. and
Yeah.
some of these plants you can only scan either during the day or during the night. So
Yeah, and it has to do with one of the factions of the Syndicate, which is New Loka, because they are the
yeah,
one
it's
that tells you
basically the lore behind the quest is that New Loka tells you, oh, we found these traces of this powerful thing, and the traces that they found is that they found these little like shrines on
yeah,
Earth where
which
you
are
go and put like these feralic pods that you put, and
yeah,
it summons some specters of warframes,
yeah. So and
which
they're
in the lore of the game are like kind of these ghosts of old warframes.
yeah, and they're the defenses of her, because they
Yep.
find it because the Grenier wanted to like modify, like to corrupt Earth and like convert it in something else, and like take all
Yep.
the bio thingy to make better Grenier. It's just disgusting. Anyways, it is annoying to do. That is it. I think
Yeah. And
that's the
to be fair,
summary.
the world building is not that strong in this one.
Yeah, that is true. It just tells you that there is like Orokin stuff in the air that they put up to defend it, and that's it. You like, makes sense. 5 points.
Yeah.
So yeah, B minus B.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially for the annoying thing of
yeah,
like
and the
going and
Warframe is
scanning the
not
little
that
plants on Earth.
nice.
Titania is really strong, actually, but
Eh, all right, fair enough. Next one, the Glass Gambit.
this is
This
the
is the
weird kid
one,
that
yeah,
can.
and with the pictures, and they give you the pictures, and you put the pictures around. And the story is like a kid who is resistant to infestation.
Yeah, so it's eh, again, you find this colony of like humans
Yeah,
that have a special name. I forget the name of this colony of humans, and there is always born a kid in their in that colony that is resistant to infestation,
yeah,
and they apparently always sacrifice the kid to get protection from the infestation or something like that.
correct.
And the whole point is that who's Nefanio? Someone
It was
kidnapped the kid.
Nefsanyo.
Nefanio.
It was, yeah, Nefsanyo.
Yeah, he kidnapped the kid, and the whole point is that we have to go and rescue a kid. And when we rescue him, he makes us play index matches that are
Correct.
not fair. Because
Yes.
and basically you end up taking down his index business.
Because you're a strong man, and then he's forced to let the kid decide, or
Yeah, and at the end, that I think that part is really cool of the quest. At the end, is one of the first quests that gives you some agency,
yeah,
because you get to decide what's gonna happen to a kid. If you're
Yeah.
either gonna rescue it, you're gonna give it back to its people, or you're gonna let the kid decide on itself what it's gonna do.
yes,
And you have basically three different endings to the quest depending on what you decide to. What do you decide to?
yeah. So it's cool, nice, and it gives you Nidus, which is a very cool warframe. It has to do, and this has a correlation because it's a warframe that is infested. It's a warframe
Yeah.
that is all about infestation, so it makes
It
a lot
doesn't
more
have
sense.
It doesn't have that much relation. It's
Yeah, it
just
doesn't have, but it makes more. Like the quests have
it
to do with infested and what they
it re-
mean,
it,
and
it really does. I mean, all warframes are infested things.
yeah. All right, yeah. That part of the lore is the weirdest thing. They're
It
people
really
and they are
it
made of
Myconians is the
infesting.
name.
What?
Myconians is the name of the
Myconians.
people.
Yeah. So and then so what is the thing about warframes? What now that we're in this point, we're gonna make it.
No, we're not gonna talk about it. Let's
All
keep
right.
going.
Fair enough. Next one is Octavius Anthem.
Oh, that one is really good.
It's really cool. Yeah, you find these are the puzzle rooms with music, and
yeah. So you first have to go and find a puzzle that spams randomly on the moon.
Untitled, yeah.
And basically a puzzle is like a music puzzle kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when you find it, you get some like you get a set of missions that have to do with again some music puzzles.
It's so cool.
And the music puzzles are basically related to that you're building up this mandakur, which is just like an in-game sequencer.
Yeah. Yes.
What were you gonna say?
Yes. Yeah. No. It was an instrument. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. It's an in-game sequencer. So you are basically these missions to reconstruct it, and once you have it, you basically go into it to rescue a cephalon.
Correct.
That is being infected by something.
Yes.
But I really like that last mission. It's like a jumping puzzle.
It's super unique too. It's like a jumping puzzle with like music and stuff, and one.
Yeah.
And is the cephalon Suda that escaped, and then you rescue it, and then you get the Warframe blueprint that is integrated with the instrument. It's really cool. And Octavia is a great Warframe. Such a cool Warframe. I love that Warframe. All right, great quest, I will say overall.
I think the last mission saves it for me.
All right, great quest for the last mission.
Yeah, at least for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, the rest is
that
like
last mission is really cool.
I did really enjoy it because I really love the moon tile set. So any an excuse to go and explore that, it was cool for me. And the last mission is really good. So really good side, really good quest. All right, next one, Saya's Vigil Gara, which is one that came with the Plains of Elidon expansion.
Yep.
Which gives you a lot more context about like what is being happening in the plains, and they tell you this story about this dude who got lost. You're trying to find what happened with the dude, and then you find like at the end you find the blueprint of the Warframe. But I don't remember what does the Warframe has to do with the dude.
With the dude, nothing.
Nothing, right?
No.
Yeah, it's just like.
At the end, basically, like you're trying to solve this puzzle. Like you remember that at the end you open a little box that has a glass flower.
Yes. So
you go around playing missions, like collecting things to open this little box.
Yeah.
When you open it, it has the flower and a note for the woman that we are helping. I forget.
Saya. Is it?
Saya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saya, yes.
and he's like, "Oh, thank you. Our people is grateful," and he gives you she gives you
the blueprint.
The blueprint.
He was an Elidon researcher, apparently. The dude.
That could be true. I don't remember the
He's in the wiki. He was
an
Elidon researcher.
What I'm telling you, what I just told you is what I remember. I don't know.
He was an alien researcher, apparently. Yeah, and that's the quest. It's good. It gives you a little bit more context in what the tribe of the Earth, the Austrian people, do, and et cetera, and that they're kind of like scavengers, and they were trying to solve the Elidon phenomena. Yeah. They give you like a little tease for the Elidons too in the quest, which is cool. All right.
That's true.
Mask of the Revenant. I haven't done this one.
That's a quest that came out later again on the plains. and you're helping the little kid, one of the little kids that is wearing mask.
Yes.
And basically, it's telling you that there are some ghosts, spooky ghosts during the night on the
Ooh,
plains, and you go
yeah.
out and investigate the ghosts and things. And at the end of the quest, and I forgot the name of the little kid. Nakak.
All
Nakak
right.
is the little kid.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you go out to a plains during the night and you investigate the things, and at the end, like on the last mission that you're doing on the place of Idol, the kid gets some nightmares,
Yeah.
visions, and
Okay.
basically the visions have the Warframe being like stuck in a plane, like in the Idol plane kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, it's like actually run and like being like kind of trapped.
Yeah.
And like Nakak and the vision help him kind of like get unstuck from that weird ghostly
Cool.
Idol plane.
And you get
And
the
when you finish it, you get the blueprint.
nice. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
that
Is it
one's
good?
really cool.
Is it good? Yeah, I haven't played, so up
That
to.
is a really, really good quest.
All
And
right.
that, especially the end of the quest, is like, quite like, whoa,
Nice.
wasn't expecting it.
Cool. All right. Moving on. Vox Solaris, Garuda.
Oh, I love this quest. That has nothing to do
Wow.
with Garuda, but I love the quest.
Yeah, the reveal of who are the Vox Solari, the tribe in the new what is the name of this place?
Fortuna.
In the new Fortuna expansion open world. The reveal of how is shocking. To say the least.
Yeah, that's such a good quest. Like you first met like the Fortuna people, and they look like these all odd robots, like with
Yeah.
human parts. And they told you that they're like enslaved,
Yeah.
quote unquote, by debt, by Nefanu. And
Yes.
the whole point is that they have so much debt that they need to work out their debt, but to keep working out, they basically need to change their human parts for robotic parts so that they can keep working
Yeah.
in the harsh conditions of
Venus,
Venus,
which is a cold planet.
which
Because
is
it's
a cold,
cool.
because it was terraformed by Orkin people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's like, oh, then you're trying to help these people, like, oh no, but let's help them and get bounds and things. But the coolest thing happens at the end when you finish the quest,
Yeah.
and like all the people that you interact so far have no heads,
Had
and at the
robotics
end,
head. They have kind of
yeah, they
robotics head.
have like robotic head, yeah, and at the end you end up helping them, and you realize that their heads are actually stored like on their chest.
Yeah, it's
Like it is hollow, and they have like a little door that opens and closes,
yeah.
and they have actual faces. It's so disturbing when it happens.
Yes.
Like, what the freak?
Yeah. It's like whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
And then there are things like the depth is so great that they sell almost everything, but the only thing they
Yeah.
cannot sell is their head. And they pass their debt through generations like crazy. Like it's
Yeah.
the capitalism criticism to the extreme.
Yeah. And actually that story has a really. You remember that once that we begin by helping Thursby, like this little kid that is
Yeah,
all happy.
that's horrifying.
Yeah, and throughout the quest, like Nefanio keeps taking parts away from him until
Yeah.
at the end we believe that he was killed.
Yes, it was so horrible.
It's so dark.
Yes, super dark. And then
But
like
it's so good.
and I remember that there is a play like they call you and there's like, oh no, they take him and we don't know what they're doing with him.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh fuck, Jesus.
Yeah,
it's super
that
dark.
quest. And they give you a blueprint for Guru at the end, which
which is like, okay, thank you.
But that story, I really like that story. It's so good. And I really like Fortuna. I like that.
And I think they teased the Lore of Garuda before, right? He was like, it has to do with the pet, and that the pet was like kind of a guardian, and he found. Do you remember
Garuda?
that?
No.
Yeah. Do you remember that part of the story?
That's
Like,
not
they give you
Garuda.
It's not Garuda? Are you
No.
sure? Garuda is not
that's
the
Korra.
pet one? That's Korra. Yeah. Wrong frame. Sorry, folks.
And
wrong
they
frame.
tease that in Planes of Idol, not
Yeah,
in
they tease Garo in place. Yeah, they tease
Korra.
that in place. Yeah, the pictures,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, you're
yeah.
fine. All right, two more. The new strange for Chroma, which it has to do
Uh,
with the cephalon that makes you scan stuff.
yeah, with Stefan and Simaris.
Yeah, with cephalon Samaris, we'd like to store stuff and scan stuff, and he finds something weird, and then you send off to investigate, and you find a new frame,
Yeah,
which
yeah. This
is
one
an
again
anomaly.
suffers from like all quest kind of
Yeah,
thing that they were like super simple. Like go
yeah,
collect these orbs of colors, beacons, and go do missions.
yes, correct. And to close this big side quest travel kind of thing, it's like every frame has its own piece of lore, right?
Yeah,
So it's very interesting. But we have one more quest to
we
do.
have one more quest. Yep,
Yeah, Chains of Horror, which is my favorite side quest in the game, and it
not
is
mine, but
not
sure.
his, but it's mine. It has to do. It tells you a little horror story about this entity beyond the void, which lives in the between the walls. And
You should tell the stories from the beginning.
all right,
You again the story in the middle, and it's
I'm
kind of
sorry.
frustrating. Like,
I'm sorry. All right, all right, all
so
right.
you first get a call from like the people from the Red Veil,
From the Steel
because
Meridian, I
or
think.
from Steel Marian, from
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of those two,
yeah, yeah.
telling you that something's weird, and they go and tell you basically what the Red Veil is all about.
Yeah.
That is about like protecting this weird entity that they believe is a god, and then you
Yes.
start kind of investigating what this god thing is, and there when you end up finding out that is this thing it was this quote unquote hero, which was just a warframe
Yeah.
that sacrificed himself to keep the man in the wall trapped,
Yeah. Which is a void entity
which we
that
end
we
up
don't know
finding
anything.
out throughout the process that this man in the wall is some kind of void construct, void
Yeah.
entity. It is left kind of ambiguous. They never
Yeah.
really tell what the man in the wall really
Yes.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like throughout the whole, like the way that you have to go out and do missions to investigate what really this man in the wall harrow kind of thing is,
Yeah.
and you go to these like corpus shapes that are like completely
Empty and abandoned. Yeah.
empty and with no
And
power,
dark.
and
Yeah.
they have like those typical blood stained letters
In the
cruel
wall.
all over the place.
Yeah. It's so cool. I love it.
I really dislike it.
I
I don't
really
like
love the
horror games,
quest.
so
I really love this quest. Like the ambiance of the missions, the
oh, I
story
hate
they're
that.
telling you. What?
I hate that.
Lucho hate it. I love it. I really like horror games and horror movie in general, like good ones.
There are no good horror movies.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lucho.
There are no good horror movies.
Okay. So and for me this was like, oh my god, what a good, like, this is a very good size they do in like the pace of the story and what you do, and it has to do with like with the warframe, the story, and this very weird entity that lives in the void and you don't know, and people hear, and like it's super endearing for me at least. I really enjoyed this quest.
Yeah.
And that's it about the quest of the frames. So again, every frame to run up this topic, every frame, this part of the topic, every frame has its own lore inside the game, and like
Yep.
as we demonstrate here, not every quest to get the frame has to do with the frame, but the frames they all
And not
got,
every frame has a quest.
and not every frame has a quest, correct? But every frame has lore inside it. So if
Yes.
you go inside the frame and check one of the tabs, they tell you a small story about what the frame is about,
Ah,
and
I really wish at some point they will give us a quest for each frame, because there are some frames that I would like to know more about.
for example,
Noah,
no, fair enough. Yeah,
we don't know anything about her.
Yeah, we don't know anything about Noah. I would like to know about Mag, for example.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sure, will be cool.
Yeah. Mag of Frost. Like any of those two will be like fascinating to find out.
It will be cool to get quests eventually at some point to get those frames and that we could play those quests
Yeah.
to know a little bit more about those frames.
It will be amazing. But overall the frame, like these side quests are very good. In the majority
Yeah,
of the quests are very good. Like and they do a lot. They do a very good job of world building in general.
yeah. I think you can take those quests, look at how they were released, and find the split between like old type of quest
Yeah,
and new type of quest.
super
Where
clearly.
the
Yeah,
old ones have like little lore or is hidden, and it's kind of a lot of go and do missions and collect stuff.
yeah.
And the new ones have a little bit more lore and like
And more voiceover and stuff that they actually
yeah,
tell you. Yeah.
it's not a critique. It just happens because that's how the game
Evolve. Yeah,
has evolved so
yeah,
far.
yeah.
It's just interesting.
All
That's
right.
all.
So now the main quests that you put here, which is
Yeah,
Vor's Prize, which is
which
the
is the
intro
intro
quest.
quest.
Yeah. Once Awake, which is the infested intro quest, the Arc Wing, Stolen Dreams, Maru's quest, which gives you a system, Nata, which gives you which is technically a prologue.
That is technically a prologue
Yeah,
for
yeah, and Era,
which is technically a
another
prologue
prologue.
again
Yeah.
for an unreleased quest.
Yes, correct.
But
So
yet to be released. That's
yeah.
the right
So
word.
Worst Price. I think. How do you find that quest? Like in general,
I really like it.
it's very
Like,
good. It's very
It
involved.
is.
It is not that
It is
long.
very. It is very. No, it's not long. It's very straightforward.
Yeah.
Like when you first play the game, you begin this introductory quest. They teach you the movements, and you see this weird-looking guy, Captain Burr,
Yeah.
and they put a thing on your ankle that is like making you go crazy.
Yes.
And the whole point of the quest is to collect things around, and while you're doing that, you're like opening the basic systems of the game
Yes.
to get
And
rid
then-
of the ankle thingy.
and it is super. I remember it's super dramatic because oh no, they're taking control, and then they talk into your ear like I'm taking control. And you're like, no, but I did all the things.
But like the funny part is that when that taking control thing takes place, it drains your energy. But
Yeah.
since you're just learning the game, that doesn't have that much impact on you.
Yes.
It's just
You're like,
funny because
okay.
it does have an effect. But by the time, like when you're doing it, it kind of doesn't matter
Yes.
because you really don't get the game.
Yeah. Correct.
But it's a good quest. It's funny.
It's good. It's dramatic because I remember that you remove the thing and then they tell you no because I injected a code in you. So now.
You know what they like have. Did you watch Rick and Morty?
Yes, I do watch Rick and Morty. Yes.
Okay, do you remember there's one episode where like he replaced the people in the family with robots and Morty is like, I'm a real boy.
Yes,
Reboot.
yeah.
I'll be back. That's how the end of that quest feels. Like, oh no, drama, I wanna be free.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah, we're nice.
That's how it felt.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. And then they introduce you to one of the villains, a recurring villain in the story, right?
Yeah, one
Yeah.
of the main bad boys.
Yeah, he's a recurring. Like you find out, like, oh well, yeah, I deal with this dude and that's it. But no, he actually comes
No.
back and does more stuff in the lore.
Multiple times.
Yeah, which is cool. Which is very cool. The intro story is very 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 nice.
Yep.
All right. Once Awake, which is the infested intro. I don't remember who has this quest.
This is a super short quest. It's one of the first quests. They basically tell, like they begin telling you about the infestation,
Yeah.
and they say like they basically teach you, oh, the infested are weak to fire, and at the end of the quest they give you, or at the beginning of the quest they give you the heat sword,
Yeah.
and they tell you to slam on the floor because it's like when you
Slam.
the slam thingy attack,
Yeah.
It does fire damage.
Yes. And they're
So
like,
that's
oh yeah,
the quest. That's the quest where they introduce the infested, and that they basically kind of are telling you that some of the enemies are weak to some elements,
yes.
and that's the end.
That's the end. It's like, look, a system.
Look, they are weak against fire.
Fire.
Here,
Whoa.
have
a
heat
fire
sword.
sword. Have a fire sword, technically.
Yeah. It's a really small, short quest.
Yeah, it's like to the point that they like. I was reading that they actually like stop being a quest by itself and it become like a junction objective that you do.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, that is that small. All right, the Arwing quest, which is.
I probably like Arwing more than most people, to be honest.
You probably do.
I don't know, like I think I have heard that Arwing, like when Arwing came out,
Yeah.
like it was, I don't know if hyped is the right word, but it came with an event.
Yeah.
Where you will basically like looking for these Orkin things of the past,
All
which
right.
ended up being the Arwing things.
Well, okay.
But that was an event that happened before the release of that patch.
Okay.
But we never get to that. So
we never got we never got
so
to
the actual
experiment
quest that we get to unlock Arwing is just like, oh yeah, go do like some excavations or spy missions.
Yeah.
And you end up like digging up the pieces to put in your foundry, in your armory.
Which is what you do in the quest now, right? You just go and do
Yeah,
some
that what you do in the
excavation
quest now is that you just go
Yeah.
out and do some spy or excavations or some kind of mission like that to find segments for your armory.
Yeah.
And when you finish it, they give you the thing that we're looking for. We're this powerful, are we? And that's the end of the quest.
Dun. Not a big
And
quest.
Literal.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it.
It's not a big quest, and it's fine. It's functionally okay to give you access to that
the main purpose is just to introduce the player to Arwing. That's it.
Which is the first different thing that you get in Warframe. Yep. Yeah. And after that, you get Stolen Dreams, which is Maroon quest.
Yeah, so Maru is basically in this quest you unlock Maru's Bazaar, which is a really like a share player area where you can like set up a shop and trade freely.
Yes.
So this quest is basically you go out and you free Maru from some Grenier people.
Yeah, because they're forcing her to like stall codex inside the derelict ships and for the Greniers, and you're like, oh yeah, you're cool. And then
so you go rescue her, you're cool, and she tells you, oh, I have these relays. You can sell stuff in my relay.
And I have this thing, so you can go and get me a pineapple, a space pineapple.
Yeah.
Which is the relics of the Orokin, which are like relic
the
collections.
studies.
Yeah, the Ayatan stuff. And that's it. That's another like mini system introductory quest.
It is basically to give access to players to trading. That's
basically.
That's the goal of that quest.
And we get to the big one, the first big one, the first prologue to the big story that is Warframe is going to tell us, which is Nata. So the story begins when we are with the Pluto planet, which is is Pluto or Neptune? I think it's
Uranus.
Neptune, right? What? Uranus? Is Uranus?
Uranus.
Is Uranus? Which is it is a water planet, technically speaking, right?
It is basically a water planet.
Yeah, and there is something strange happening in there. And
they're trying to not
Yeah.
Lotus told you,
Those-
there are some odd readings.
The odd
Go
readings.
investigate, Zeno.
Yeah, and then you find out that the Grenier are trying to take out an old relic in the bottom of the sea,
Yep.
and this is attracting these old readings. And then these
Yep.
old readings are a thing that is a sentient and supposed to be an old enemy of the Warframes.
Yeah, so sentients are the old enemies of the Urkin Empire.
Yeah. So, and they're, oh no, they're back, and there's a old sentient bird, like bird down there in Neptune, and the Grenier should not be allowed to wake him up, but he wakes up and do stuff, and then they tell
It's-
you, but your space
it's-
mom is a sentient. Dun dun dun.
You really suck at telling these stories,
I know.
no? So the whole point is that the Lotus told you, like, there are these odd readings, and you go out with your scanner and just scan them.
Yes.
And the Lotus told you, oh no, sentients are coming back. We have to prepare. We have
Correct.
to keep investigating. So go look at the relic that they are digging up. So you go up, you look for the relic, you scan the relic, you interact with the relic, and there's when, like, basically Hong Hao talks to
Hong
you
Hao.
for the first time.
Yeah.
And he tells you, like, oh, Nata, we know what you're doing.
Yes.
And we're, oh, who's Nata? And then Lotus says, I am Nata. I am a sentient. Dun, dun, dun.
Professional storyteller here, right?
You've been my dungeon master. Why did you suck so much at telling these stories?
It's because I forget the details. I need to have the details fresh in my mind.
I described the same stuff that you did.
I know. You know, the funny part is, like, I'm actually a very good storyteller.
No, you're not. You're showing me that you're not.
Right now, I'm like, I'm doing a terrible job right now.
Really bad.
Anyways, and this is like the big.
Yeah, so basically this is the first big prologue, because they introduced to you Hong Hao, which we don't know who he is.
Yeah.
And it's basically like, oh, but Lotus, a sentient, but we thought she was Orkin. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah. You're like,
That's-
but I like my mom.
Yeah.
And by
But
this
Mom,
time,
what's going on?
yeah, but this time you've been like really attached to the Lotus, because like is the character that guides you all the time, is the one that helps you escape.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like organically created this connection to the character, and it's like,
You have spent a lot of time with Lotus to this point.
yeah.
Yep.
And like you care, like by this point you absolutely care about what happened with the
Yeah,
Lotus. Yeah. And
I'm being over dramatic with saying, oh no, Lotus, but like
Yeah.
it really
it really
it
is,
really matters at
it
the
really,
point.
you do care by the time that you get to
Yeah.
this prologue and everything you had done in the game. All right, so
Yes.
in Era, which is apparently the other prologue that you
is
were
a
telling me
prologue to
about,
the new war, which I haven't seen.
it's a prologue to the 4 big story quests, right? Even if we had
Yep.
a small prologue in the Wisp quest, in the fighting the new Elidon thingy, the new boss.
No.
Well, you do get some lore when you're fighting that boss.
Yeah, sure, but it's not much.
Is that much? All right, we got a tease then. Anyways, and now we move on to the big 3 story quest in Warframe.
Yeah, so we move to a backbone of the story that the game is telling us so far.
Yeah. And the interesting part of this is like the story that they're telling you is so important for the community in Warframe that everybody keeps secret what it is about.
It's not that it keeps secret, it's that the community is very mindful of not spoiling the quest for new players.
There we go, yeah.
Because it had a huge impact on the community when it came out.
Yes, correct. So the first part of this is the second dream. And this is, I think it was amazing when I was doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the first, and it's I think the way they describe it is like, first is it tells you a very interesting story what the warframes are in reality. It gives you
The
the
second
first
one
review.
doesn't tell you much.
No,
It doesn't tell you what the warframes are.
no,
It's more
no. It tells
about,
you what the operators are.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it is
different.
the first reveal of what an operator is and what you exactly do.
Yeah, and I mean, you should, like, the thing operator didn't existed before, so
Correct.
you should put it in context that before this quest came out, there were a lot of speculations of what warframes were like,
Yeah. Are
because
there
they were just like
robots?
these robot things that you get to use. But
Are there suits? Are there robots? Are there androids?
yeah,
Nobody was clear what exactly were there,
it was
because
never stated really.
I think at this point we were aware that there was a connection between infected and warframes.
It was hinted
Yeah,
by Alat B, but it
yeah.
was never like
That
clearly.
that the warframe has some biological component.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's the only thing that you do. So, how this
So
quest start? Start with, there is a who is the one who finds out the location?
Hong Hao
Yeah, Hong Hao. Yeah, starts with Hong Hao and
and the Stalker.
the stalker, right?
So Hong Hao is a sentient. He cannot come for us.
Because he is trapped in Neptune, as stated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he uses the Stalker. So he basically manipulates the Stalker and convinces him that he should come and hunt us. And the
Yeah.
whole point of the attack quest is that when we interacted with the little relic, Hong Hao found out where was the Lotus.
Yes.
And now the race is that the Stalker is going. We like it seems the way that it sounds at the beginning is that it is going for the Lotus and that we have to protect something
Yeah,
from Hong
something
Hao, and we are,
precious, something that is
yeah,
the power of the frames, or something like that, right?
yeah, and yeah. So and in this process of following or stalking the Stalker, if you so desire,
Yeah.
we found out that the thing that we need to protect is the moon.
The
Because
moon, and it's very weird because when you start to play the game,
there
the
was
moon
no
is not
moon.
there. There is no moon on the earth, and you're like, that's weird. And
Yeah.
it's like, it was especially weird because when you go and see guides, you see the moon.
Sure.
Yeah, and you're like, what the fuck? There's like, where is this thing?
I never paid that much attention to it, but yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole point is that during that, like, basically Alet is helping you
Yes.
kind of on the side.
Kind of, yeah.
And he kind of implies like, damn, Lotus, you're powerful.
Yeah.
Like you
and to make
hit the moon.
and to make something clarified, like, nobody outside of us knows that the Lotus is a sentient.
Yeah.
Right, in the universe, like none of the factions, none of the factions that interact with us knows that she's a sentient, right?
Yeah, although if you recontextualize some of the Alet B dialogue in that quest,
Yeah,
maybe he suspects something.
he suspects something. See, of course he suspects something. He's like, because the thing is like, Lotus hit the moon in the void, in a phase between the void and the reality, and he's suspended in there, right? That's why he's not visible, and he was doing it to hide what was in the moon, which were, for the reveal, the operators. Dun, dun, dun. It was a collection of operators. Did they
it
give
was you all along.
It was you all along. You were the operator. You were the one that being safeguarded. You were the one that you have to save. And you were the one controlling the warframes.
You were going to save yourself.
Yes, correct. without knowing it. It's brilliant.
It is really cool. It is really cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
It's
Did they
really
give
cool
you
because you think that you're going to save the Lotus or
yeah,
something,
or
and then you're gonna
something
find
else,
something like that,
or like a weapon
and
or something like that, because
yeah,
they say about like something very powerful that can change stuff, like it's a weapon inside the war or something, like they put it in that context, like it's something really powerful.
yes.
Yeah,
And then the little scrawny kid slides from from the moon pod,
yeah.
and your Warframe falls to its knees, and it's like, oh,
Oh,
what's going on? It was me.
so cool, man.
It is really cool. Like,
so nice, man. Such a good
we are
quest.
making it a disservice to a quest because
Yeah, absolutely.
it is actually a really nice reveal.
Yeah. It's really surprising reveal.
And it's really cool that cutscene when the kid is kind of like dragging himself to touch the Warframe, and you
Yeah.
regain control of the Warframe, and then you realize, oh, I am the kid.
I am the kid. And then you carry yourself with the Warframe
Yeah.
in your hands. It's
That's
like really
so cool.
Such a good memories of that quest.
That's a really good quest, like, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's it's funny because that's when you get to do your character, like your
proper
actual character
creation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your proper character creation. Yeah. That is true. That is definitely true.
That is really, really cool.
Oh man, such a good.
And also, like, it's in that quest, like at the end when you're in your little ship, how's it called? That, like, at the end, you, like, the stalker is like finds you and like.
Isn't that in the War Within?
Isn't
that in the beginning of the War Within? Is in this quest when he comes into the pod and he tries to kill you? No, that's in the War Within where the Warframe wakes up and stabs.
No.
Is in here quest? I thought it was at the beginning of the War Within.
Nope.
Oh, all right, yeah, super dramatic.
The War Within begins in a different way.
Yeah, it begins.
That's the end of that quest that you like. It stabs your Warframe. Everything goes to black, and then you see from the perspective of the operator the Warframe ripping apart the war.
Yeah, the sword. Yeah.
And at the end of this quest, you get the broken war.
Yeah. And it's the moment where the frame moves by itself, right?
The first time, yeah.
The first time the frame moves by itself, because you're technically in that moment disconnected from it, and he actually moves by himself and defends you.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, then there's something else.
There's something else.
Yeah, there is something else. You're not only there are not only suits that you control.
But it was that was still never clear because
it was never clear because
there were people saying that they could just be puppets that you were controlling with your void powers or something.
Yeah. Did they give you the Tenno story in there?
What's it? Yeah, the Saruman 10-0. Like the Lotus is there where the Lotus told you that you were a kid that was going to a Tau system, and the Saruman 10-0 got stuck, and
that's when they give you
get infected with the void.
This is the quest when they give you the big backstory of the game.
It gives you a good portion of the backstory of you.
Yeah, they give you like
why do they call you Tenno?
There was an old civilization and they were running out of resources, so they sent the ship to a Tau system to try to recolonize, and it got lost in the void. Basically, that's what they tell you in that quest.
Don't tell you all of that. They just tell you that you were sent on a ship somewhere.
They
and
don't
that you
tell
get
you
lost
the
in the
complete
void.
story. All right, fair enough. And then you come back with the things, and then they got rescued by the Lotus.
Yeah,
and you become their children, her children.
Yeah,
and it's like,
and it was like a second dream.
Yeah, and it was like
it felt like a second dream. All along.
Something
like that is one of the lines of the.
And that she hits you because you had power, so it's better that you are in stasis for your protection.
Yeah, basically, she kind of told you that you didn't know how to control the
Yeah.
void powers and that it was painful for you. So the only
Yes.
way to subdue the pain was to put you
In stasis, in a
on
dream.
that pod on the moon,
Yeah.
where it felt like a second dream.
Secondary. Roll credits.
It's a pretty cool quest. It's a pretty cool quest.
So good quest. And then after that, we got the war within, which is the second part of the quest.
Yeah, and again, to put it in context, like at this, after the second dream, you gain access to operator, but you cannot really control it. Like you can get out of out of your Warframe to operator, like shooting the void beam
Yeah.
from your chest, but that's all you can do.
Yes. So
and is through a war within that we're gonna gain control, like full control
through
over
control
the
of your
operator.
operator. Yeah, because you're kind of the same state as the Lotus tells you. Yeah, you cannot control your void powers.
Yeah,
fully. You cannot control your powers fully. So the stasis, you pretty much are in the stasis pod of the now orbiter.
Yep.
At the same as you were in the moon, but in a more secure, direct way.
Yeah, in your own orbiter. Yep.
Yeah. So this begins and he introduces directly to the two queens of the Grenier.
Yeah. So again, the quest begins like. So basically, again, Lotus tells you that someone is messing around with the pods in the moon, and tells you to go investigate.
Yeah.
And you go to a moon to where the little pod where you came from was, and you find out that Peshin was there doing stuff.
Which is supposed to be an ally of you.
He was supposed to be an ally, so it's kind of suspicious that Peshin is there, and you ask him like, what's going on, and blah 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 and stuff, and he tells you, it's not your problem. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And then you say, oh no, yeah, I want to know, and then you go throughout missions like hunting Peshin.
Yes.
And while you're pursuing Teshin, you end up following him to an asteroid.
Yeah.
That seems to be moving.
Yes.
Like more faster than what a usual asteroid is.
Correct.
And there's they tell you, oh, we should go investigate, and the Lotus is like, no, be careful, and you say, oh, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna go
because I'm strong and I can do it.
I can do it, and you go, and then you find out that this is the Kua fortress.
Yeah.
Where the queens for the Grenier live.
Yeah, the twin queens.
The twin queens. And then you realize that Teshin is it's not a Grenier, but it's
an Orokin, technically.
It's right? A Dax, yeah. It's a Dax warrior.
Yeah.
Which is an Orokin warrior. And the whole point is that like the Greniers are also the form Orokin in a sense.
The former Orokin, some kind of they're creations of the Orokin, but it's weird.
They're creations, and the queens are somehow like were Orokin at some point, but
we're Orokin,
they started using like the Grenier bodies to stay alive.
Yes.
So they corrupted themselves doing that.
Correct.
And after you realize that you're in the Kua fortress and you're confronted by the queens, basically. So basically, they told you that the queens instructed Tashin to hunt for to bring you to them so they consume your body so they can keep living through you.
Yeah, because you are clean flesh.
Yeah.
So they extract you out of your frame.
Basically the big queen has a scepter that kicked you out from your frame, that leaves you as a naked little boy. And then you go through a self-discovery journey to rediscover all your kid powers.
Your kid powers, yeah. It is like they put you kind of in a stasis, and then you go into your mind and find out your powers through a journey, and you do missions as a little kid for
actually that mission where you're that mission where they're teaching you all your powers.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It's really good. It's really really good. Like the scenarios and what you do in your kid form and
And
etc.
not only
etc.
that, but like in the background, Teshing is telling you a lot of of like the Tenno
Yeah,
story
yeah, yeah, yeah.
during the war time.
Yes,
Like that's when he's telling you what the Orkin were,
yeah,
that is an Orkin, that they were using you to win the war against the sentient, that you
yes.
rebel against the Orkin.
That they try with that they created the
Yeah,
infestation because that was the first weapon that the sentient was, and there's where they tell you that the sentient were AI that they sent to the TOS system
yep,
to start colonizing, and somehow in the void, in the travel through the void, they became smart.
sentient.
Yeah, and they
They became
became
sentient.
they became sentient. Yeah,
They
and
gain self awareness.
they gain
That's
self
the point.
awareness, and the void let them let them sterile, so they cannot like continue their existence
Yep.
as sentient
And they blame the Arkin people for
for doing
that.
that. Yeah, for doing that, so they come back to destroy them, and yeah, they give you the whole context of the actual
Yeah.
super backstory lore.
Teshing is telling you, like, where it's actually like, I feel like it's a really smart thing to, like, where you're learning all your kid powers. Teshing is constantly telling you all this background story that it's
Yeah,
important.
about in about the creation of the schools to
Yep.
like what they did in the war, that they created the own like martial arts type of school that gives you that sensation of very like
Yep.
martial artist kind of things. Is great. And then they start giving you these choices, right, of like do this,
Oh
you
yeah,
do this, and they
they
give you the
put like
mayor.
this.
It's the
Yeah, they put
weirdest
like
things
this
because
morality
is
choice
that is
thingy.
that is that been pay off?
Not so. I
Not,
mean, not so far.
yeah, not so far has been pay off, but they have done it like since then.
But those questions that they give you, uh, no, they are only for that little portrait that appears in your profile so
Yeah,
far.
but it does get it does get shown against in the sacrifice, which is the next question, the next
Yeah,
quest. Yeah. So, but they haven't paid off that entirely because
not
depending
so
on what
far.
you choose, you get kind of like a random specter that appears
Yeah,
in your ship at the end of the. So at the end, you end up like with kind of like a white thing, depending on the choices that you made, or a black thing, or half and half, right?
or
And
anything in between.
it's supposed to signify your connection with the void
Yeah,
energies, right? And the morality and how so, and you get kind of a, I don't know if you choose all white, I end up in the gray area, I end up half and half
yeah, and I think I'm in the middle, but a little bit more white than black.
than black. I end up half and half, and you get a random apparition of kind of a reflection of your operator with like glowing eyes
Yeah,
telling you kiddo or telling you remember,
yeah,
and it's kind of like the reflection of the or your connection of the void with the void energies that you now
yep.
control. And they were telling you at the end of this quest, and at the end of this quest you get the full system.
Yeah, so by the end of the quest, like when you regain all your kid powers, you get to fight the queens,
Yeah,
and basically you have to fight the Kua Guardians, which you need to use your kid powers to defeat them.
yeah, you need to do
So it's
the
basically
void abilities.
putting in practice all your kid powers for the fight.
Yeah,
And yeah, by the end, you kill, you or Teshin kill the big queen.
yeah,
And yeah, and by that point, you gain access to a full operator system. You have full control. You have this, all the power is in the schools,
yeah,
and you get to run around like a kid.
yeah, which is your true character technically speaking.
That's your character. You are the kid.
And that's like it's such a good, it's not as dramatic as the second dream, but it's very good quest, right?
It is not as dramatic, but I like it more.
Yeah,
I like it more than the second dream. I feel like the storytelling is more
More polish.
is
It's more
better.
polish. Yeah, it's more polish. It has a better pacing
And
than the second
it has
game.
better pacing and it has more lore.
Yeah.
Like the thing of the second room is that it's a huge reveal. By the War Within has a lot of information that is super cool.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And they give it to you in a very cool way, in a very good pace way. So it's not just like a background dump, but it has a cadency, because while you're like fighting and controlling and trying to learn these kid abilities, they're telling you why you have to control it, why are the schools, what happened in the past, etc., etc. So
I agree.
I think it's the best main quest so far.
It is the best in my opinion.
Yeah, it is for me too. It is the best main quest so far of the game.
Yeah.
The War Within. And these two quests, people keep them very close to the chest. And then we move on to the third, which is not that big, but it's another big reveal, which is the sacrifice.
Yeah, so basically the sacrifice is, again, the Lotus tells you, oh, there are some odd rhythms of a Warframe in the moon.
Yes.
And then you go out to the moon.
Please put like bells or alarms, something on the moon, dude. People get breaking in that place.
No. So you go out to the moon to scan for the odd readings of energy thing.
Yeah.
And you find out that there was a frame here.
Yeah. And
it
it's
was
like, what?
That no one knew anything about. It's like, oh, what? And then the whole quest is about hunting this frame. This new frame. So you go, you recover it, you build it actually.
Yes.
And when you like actually the quest tells you, oh, build it, get it, go and put it.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you put it,
one more frame.
Yeah, but when you get to use it, it actually snaps on you.
Yep.
And you cannot control it. It's like, what? and it has that shot that reveals that, like, it has a broken piece of the helmet.
Yeah.
And it has an eye on it.
And it's like,
what's going on?
Do you ever saw like Evangelion?
Yeah.
It's that reveal on, I think it was like episode 2. Yeah. When you see like the helmet of the Eva and it has an ear.
Yeah.
It's that. And then you find out that they're not just robots.
And basically the kid using his void powers like access the memories of that specific Warframe.
Yeah.
And it starts telling you the story of how that Warframe came to existence.
Be. Yeah.
And it's a super sad story, actually. It's like so dramatic.
Excalibur story, right? Hombre Excalibur story.
Yeah. No, yeah, but it's like, do you remember that, like in these flashbacks?
These flashbacks,
you're like sick in a bed and...
Yeah, and there is what is the name of this character?
The long arm boy.
The long arm dude. What is the name of that dude? Come on.
I don't remember.
Can find it out. Super important character now. By the way. Oh my god. Is it the question?
Balas.
Balas. So it's like Balas, which is an Orokin, which was part of one of the council members of the Orokin in the war.
Not only that, like he was the leader.
Yeah, he was like
of the group that was developing Warframes.
Yeah,
so
Warframe
he basically came out with the Warframe idea, so that the kids would will use their void powers through the Warframes. So he was the one who developed Warframes as technology.
Yeah. And it's like, and then you find out that the Warframe technology is like they take great warriors and they convert them into golems with the infested technology.
Yeah, using infestation spores.
Yeah.
They make golems out of the people. And they imply that they can erase the memories of the subjects that they use completely.
Not entirely, because they need the fighting ability to keep on the frame, right?
No, but they can erase the memories. Like,
yeah,
they can completely erase the memories. It's just that for Umbra, since he had like a personal vendetta with Balas, he didn't.
Yeah. He
so that's why we can see some of his
old memories from the war. from back in the war, and we get introduced to Ballas in there, which is a very important character now.
But that story is super sad because do you remember that while the story progresses,
He was like a dad
he's
or
getting
something like that. He
sicker
was,
and sicker. Yeah, he's getting he's sick
yeah,
and he's getting sicker and sicker
and his
and like
Ballas fault. Yeah,
yeah, and his son is like next to his bed,
yeah.
and at
Super
the end,
sad.
Ballas tells him like, "Oh,
It's gonna
but
be okay.
your son won't survive," and it
Yeah.
implies that it's
He has to
he's
give his
skilled.
body his skills so his son keeps living, and he has to sacrifice himself at the end. Hence,
Yeah.
roll credits. For his,
But he never sacrificed himself. Like he just like it was not an option. Like the way that the story goes, it's like it feels like Ballas is just forcing him to do it.
Yep.
So he has no say on any of that.
It's super, super hard. And
Yep.
then you feel a little bit guilty. It's like, oh my god, I've been building people. and then why the frames has lore by themselves makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like it goes full circle. Like it makes you think like not only that you were not the frame, but the frame was once a person, a great hero, most likely, or a great warrior in the old war. And from then they become golems and put their abilities into immortal form as immortal warriors.
The funny thing is that they have never. I mean, that's how the original Warframe happened. So there is like that's how the original things. But how do we make the copies of those?
Well, technically,
that's never explained.
If you think about it, like if you think about it, and you say, well, in this universe, kind of makes sense. We have like infinite data storage in the cephalons, and infinite data ways to storage like high quantities of data, so we can technically like reproduce an ADN like DNA with technology blend. I don't know. It's space magic, dude.
Yeah, but
if you think about it too much.
No, that's an interesting question. Like, sure, that like the Umbra story tells you how the original Warframe was like each one of the original, because there is an original Ember, there is an original Mirage, there is an original Inarus, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Like basically, we came to find out how these original ones were created.
Correct.
But now, where do all these copies that we are making came from?
And we have a lot of copies of the first frame.
We can print them in our
ships. In our ships.
So
we can print people. Like we are cloning stuff. We're cloning.
I mean,
super soldiers, right?
you have two options. You say, okay, it's just a game.
Yeah.
Like at some point, you have to make the distinction between world building and game mechanic, where you just have many copies. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting if we are actually in game. Yeah. Explain it.
It's like, well, if you try to explain, like the way I will explain it, like in pure to do this exercise, I probably say that the memories have to be like chip integrated or something, some kind of computer or like memory database, or the fighting information of what a Warframe makes, like the powers and how they use it and all that, and then the rest, the body is just a clone with characteristics and DNA samples and like technology stuff, right?
Yeah, but it has never been clearly stated that we can clone stuff.
Clearly not. Yeah, we can. If you can 3D print anything, well, you can 3D print organic matter.
Yeah, but that doesn't. You could still.
Right now in our world, people are printing like hearts and livers and organs.
Yeah, but they're not functional, really.
Clearly not, but we're on the way of like trying to do that. So.
Sure, but still, that's.
There you go.
Yeah, but I don't know. I want to know if it is just again like I'll be okay if they tell me you are like when you build your copy of Ember, you are reconstructing the original Ember body,
Yeah.
I'll be cool with that. And if they tell
Cool.
me, yeah, that's a game mechanic,
Yes.
I will also be fine if they tell me, oh no, but like it is a 3D printed. It is like a completely mechanical body
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is then
Synthetic. Fully
infested,
synthetic. Yeah.
like fully synthetic. That it has some biological matter that comes from the infestation because our orbiter has an
Has an
infested room.
Yeah. Yes.
So if they tell me something like that, I'll also okay, that's cool. It'll be interesting. I'm just
Fair
saying
enough.
it will be
It will be
interesting to
interesting
know
if if it's in some way, shape, or form we got that
that
piece.
answer.
Yeah, piece. But anyways, and that's a big three, right?
Yeah, those are the backbone
Of the
of the big
frame.
story that the game has been telling us so far. Which is basically a story about who we are,
Yeah.
what happened in the previous wars, and they're linking it to. Basically, they're using it to link it to what's going to happen in the next war,
Yeah.
which is the new war quest that would come
It's coming. Yeah.
at some point eventually.
Yes.
Soon TM.
I have in mind that the like between these three quests, there were
There were
years.
years.
Yeah.
Years.
You now can enjoy them in a reasonable pace, but
Oh no, they were years apart.
they were really years apart. So I think we have to wrap it up. We've been like we have some
Gosh.
small details to go through, which is like what the faction does. What we can go
Wait, but
quickly to that. Like the Grenier are clones, an army of clones, which was the first response of the Oro Queen to the war,
Yeah.
and they survived
But
yeah.
but then yeah, the nice part of the Grenier is that they cannot reproduce, so they can clone themselves, but they
Yeah.
can clone the same genetical material. So
Yes.
they just keep being the farm clones, and they have to augment themselves with rough technology.
Correct. So yeah, so there's like a remaining of labor slash soldiers, base soldiers, clones that they were abandoned by the Grenier, and they
By the
started to
Orokin.
sustain themselves by cloning themselves, and they got like distorted by all the like corrupted by all the cloning iterations, and
Yeah,
they
but they are
technically race now.
but they are also the largest military faction
Yeah.
in the universe.
They're clones.
They're clones, but they are the largest military.
They're the
force.
largest, yeah, correct. And then we have the corpus, which is the human.
They're
part.
just humans.
Yeah.
Like they were subjects of the Orkin Empire. They were not Orkin themselves.
No, they were subjects. They were just humans.
They were just subjects, and when the Orkin Empire like fell off,
yeah,
they just realized, oh, we are now kind of free. So what are we gonna do?
Capitalism to the extreme. Here we go.
We're gonna make money.
Yeah.
And then some people like rise to the top of this race for money, and they created like a council, which is the Corpus Council,
which is like
they
a
basically
board.
Yeah, it's a board of people, and they basically control most of the trade in the solar system.
Correct. And then we have the infested,
which as we probably hinted before is just they were created by the Orkin Empire.
Correct.
With the objective of creating warframes. That was the main drive to create the infestation.
Yeah.
It's just when the Orkin Empire disappeared, the infestation got kind of lost and out of control, and it started like consuming anything, like any biological or technological matter that it encounters in the universe.
It's like a fungus.
It is. It is a hive mind, actually.
It's a hive mind fungus that just like wants to live and reproduce, and and that's it. And then we have the smaller non-aggressive factions, which are the rest of the people that lives in the universe, right?
Yeah, which it is interesting that we have encountered this in the latest expansions, because before Plains of Eidolon, all the factions that we encounter were kind of aggressive in one or another sense.
Yeah,
like they were all militant factions.
Yeah. They were all military factions, yeah. And now we're starting like to find out like small tribes, right? To
Yeah,
to
just
tell you,
and that's I appreciate that we
yeah,
now get to see what like the normal people around the solar system are doing.
yeah,
So we got the Ostron on Earth, we got the Bug Solaris on Jupiter,
yeah, on
we have the
Venus,
Quills kind of all around the place.
yeah.
But yeah, they're just like
But it's cool because
civilian factions.
it just enriches the world that you get to see like the minutia of what,
It does a lot, and
because by now, like before Planes of Elyon, we just get exposed to like Grenier Compass and Infected, and then
yeah,
the syndicates all the time, right? That's the only factions that we actually see working in the solar system, and now we
yep,
get to see the normal people,
yep.
which are Ostron, which technically are like Orokin scavengers or recyclers.
Yeah, they're just normal people,
Yeah,
and basically, one of the cool things that you realize is that all the Orkin technologies seem to have some like organic component to
yeah,
it, because all the Orkin towers have like this meat
yes,
like
super
consistency
weird.
to them, which is super weird, but it's cool because like you see all the Orkin aesthetic,
And
and it's
it's
like all
so,
golden,
yeah,
white, and like super clean, but then apparently it's built out of some organic matter.
yeah. And they're like, and then that makes me suspect that maybe they grew the ships or the technology, something like that.
Yeah, probably it's
And it's like a
weird.
weird blend between technology and organic. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, and the Austrians, yeah, they scavenge
all
now the
right.
remains of an Orkin tower.
Last words of the topic. With that, the world design and the world building. I think Warframe is great in that sense.
I love that they put a little twist to all the things that they do.
Yeah,
So they have the three basic factions, which if you think about it, they're like three like very standard factions for sci-fi.
yeah.
Like military people, technology people, and zombies.
Yes. And that was the
It's basically
base.
what
That was the base story. Yeah.
that's the base concept of the factions.
Yeah.
But they have this little twist, like the Grenier. Yeah, they're just little soldiers, but no, they're clones of each other, and they are deformed, and they have these crude augmentations. And
Yeah.
and the technology faction, which is the corpus. Oh, but it's not only technology. They
They're
have
capitalism at the extreme.
yeah,
And
and
they
the
care about
infested.
money.
And the infested. They're not only zombies, but they're like this thing that consumes everything, and
Yeah. Not
it just
only living people, but everything.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like these little twists, and for example, what we just mentioned, like the Australian live by scavenging this working tower. So we see these like things that looks just like buildings, but they have organic matter. So it's kind of okay.
Okay.
That's
Cool. That's
that's
interesting.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the
Yeah, and the same thing for the warframes. Like they could say, "Oh no, they're just robots," and we avoid any kind of interesting like dilemma with it if they were
yeah.
just like armors.
Yeah.
But no,
But
they're
no,
made
they're
out of people,
they're
and that's
evangelions. Woo.
no, but just that means like oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of mess up. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Yes. Yes. Yes.
that little twist that they put to everything is what I appreciate really about the world in Warframe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you say once, Warframe is weird,
It
and
is weird.
that's what it makes it super endearing. Like the
Yeah,
fact that it has all these weird things inside the lore and the build and the system, and you see all around. Like it's not your run of the mill. It's close to your run of the mill sci-fi adventure, but it's actually not.
it has enough elements of kind of the standard sci-fi so
Yes,
that you can recognize it, but it's different enough so that it's unique.
correct. And
It's
the and
that's
the
that's the nice mix.
and the other thing in the world building and the lore is like they are not afraid to be super weird with it, right?
Yeah,
Which is the
yeah,
grain condemnations. Like they are not. They could, because it would be super easy for them. They have a well established world when they can be as normal as you can be and be fine. But the fact that they put this weird twist in them and this disturbing and weird stuff inside the lore of all times is what it makes it great, in my opinion.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Having that freedom to explore like especially difficult themes to
Yeah.
explore, like horror and like
Yes.
slavery somewhat,
Identity
and
issues.
yeah,
Yeah, slavery.
like all this morality, like
Yeah.
are we controlling people with the warframes? Do they
Yeah.
have memories? Do they
Yeah.
know what we're doing to them?
Yes.
So it has like this like subtext
Correct.
that is really interesting because it touches on things that a lot of video games are afraid to go into because it's kind of we don't want to talk about that.
Yes, because it would be touchy for the rest of the people.
Yeah, but they have earned our trust with them
Correct.
being.
And they don't present it in a oh no way manner. They just
Oh yeah, no,
present it.
and it is also not in your face. It's kind
Yeah.
of there for you to read the like in between the lines.
If you want, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, now we move into audience questions and feedback. Remember that if you want to ask us your burning questions, you can leave us a comment on the video if you're watching us on YouTube. You can send us an email, tweet us, pass by my stream, and ask your questions. So, the first question that you have for today is what guides will you personally recommend for starting in Warframe?
Guides.
I will straight recommend any iFlynn guide.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't like his content that much, but his guides are really good, like
Yeah, I will try
objectively
to
good.
go and
So-
find iFlynn Warframe starter guide, and you will find all the videos that you need.
Yeah,
For
he,
sure.
he knows a lot of the game.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. And he goes at a pace. He doesn't spoil anything in the guides for the majority of the part, so you can enjoy
Yeah,
the
no,
game
no,
properly.
no.
Yeah,
His guides are good. I
Yeah.
don't like the content, but his guides are really good.
his guides are really good polish. If you wanna build, so I'll probably say maybe go in the internet, or if you want a YouTuber that does build, probably Bro Cyber does very.
I think it's still iFlynn has
Still
some of
iFlynn?
the better, like the most beginner friendly builds.
Yes. Yeah,
Because a lot of the other people go into.
Yeah, more they go assuming that you already know how the systems of the game works, right? Basically.
Yeah.
All right. And for our second question is what is the most complicated systems you have experienced in any game?
Complicated systems. I don't know. What about you? Excuse me.
I think the most complicated system that I had experienced in any game will probably be. Man, I had this in mind a second ago. I forgot it. Oh, come back. Come back to me. Don't go away. Let me see. What is the most complicated?
I mean, complicated in what sense?
Like complex, like difficult to understand, I imagine. That's what he was trying to say.
Okay.
I think I'll probably say. I think I'll probably call like the Warframe mod system is a pretty complicated one. But there's another one I was thinking about.
I would probably say.
And I think I would probably point to the Monster Hunter decorations.
The decorations are quite mysterious at the beginning.
Yeah, that too.
You know what? I will say, like any city builder.
Yeah, I don't play sim games. I imagine that there's some systems there that is
No, but like I don't know, like games like City Skylines.
All right.
Like basically the whole purpose of the game is playing the balancing act of taxes and zones and like if you're not playing like creator mode where they give you full freedom and resources.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing a normal game.
Yes.
Like you have to balance where to zone things, how many taxes to put, and
Jesus. All right.
manage income and that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
not because it is complex on itself, because doing like budgeting it's difficult for most people.
Fair enough. There you go.
That's my answer.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it. That's all for this week's episode. Once again, thanks for tuning in into a Sweaty Farmer and the Game Design. My name is Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at Luis G. Polanco.
And I am the Long Name Gamer. You can find me on Twitter at the Long Name Gamer and on twitch.tv/LongNameGamerTV, where I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to the Sweaty the Farmer and the Game Design. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
And did you know the entire starfruit is eatable? It has a texture like grapes. Tastes resemble a blend of pineapple, plum, and lemon. That's a lot of fruits. There are 2 varieties of starfruit, sweet and tart. Okay? Tart variety is used as garnish for the preparation of stews, curries, and dishes made of poultry, fish, and seafood. Okay? Sweet variety can be consumed fresh, or it can be used for preparation of juices, cocktails, jams, sweets, and desserts. So once is a straight up normal fruit, the other is a weird condiment.
And these fruits are best consumed shortly after they ripen, when they are yellow with a light shade of green, or just after all traces of green have disappeared. There are only 31 calories per 100 grams of fruit, so pretty healthy.
Pretty healthy star fruit, and you can find like a special. You can.
Yeah.
I eat stars, Mom. Look at me. I'm a star. Have you eaten this fruit?
Yep. Really good.
Really good. Have you seen the tart variety?
Yep.
Oh, have you cooked with the tart variety?
Nope.
All right. We have to have